Hey girl, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to show you how I can go from this to this in less than 15 minutes max. So when it comes to a makeup routine with minimal time, the key is going to be using makeup products that are multi-use, makeup brushes that are multi-use. You can really do the most with less, and I'm going to show you. It all comes down to your makeup products and technique, and of course your tools and brushes. I'm always going to advocate for getting a tinted sunscreen, one that's going to protect your skin from the sun, that can be in primer, but also that can act as makeup if you wanted it to be. That is going to be my #1 recommendation. And it doesn't have to be a full coverage tinted sunscreen, but just something that's going to perfect your skin, something that's going to even out your skin tone, you know, to reduce the redness or hyperpigmentation. That is always going to be my go-to. Or if you are using something that has SPF, but it doesn't cover much, getting a base product that can act as a concealer that is medium, full, buildable coverage. Those are going to be my go-tos when it comes to doing your makeup with minimal time. A good SPF, I always recommend tinted SPF mineral, especially if you have acne prone skin and hyperpigmentation. That is going to be your best friend. And then if you have hyperpigmentation, redness, dark spots, you need to get you a base product that can act as a concealer, that can cover up those imperfections. Those are going to be your go-tos for a makeup routine with minimal time. So if you like videos like this, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe. So let's get into this quick makeup routine with minimal time in 15 minutes. So I already prepped my skin with my skincare. I didn't go in with my SPF because that's going to be the first step in this makeup routine. I will always advocate for a tinted sunscreen because that's going to be your sun protection. It's going to be the base step in your makeup routine, and then it also can act as a primer. And if you know, you know, today I'm going to go in with the RMS Supernatural Radiance SPF 30 in the shade Rich Aura, the deepest shade. This is my holy grail base product, skincare, makeup, whenever I don't have time or when I'm wanting to protect my skin from the sun. This is my go-to. I will always advocate for the girlies that are just getting into makeup or for the girlies that don't have much time but want to look more put together in minimal time. A tinted sunscreen is always going to be your best friend. And so of course, this is what I'm going to use today, but you can use whichever tinted sunscreen you have, because when it has a tint, it kind of can give a little coverage, light to medium coverage, depending on which tinted SPF you're using. This is like 3 steps for me. This is my sun protection, my primer, and then also subtle makeup. This is light coverage, but depending on your skin, because if you don't have any hyperpigmentation or uneven skin tone, this can be medium or buildable coverage. But for me, I have some post-acne scarring and some uneven spots, so this would be more of a light coverage for me, but that's fine because it's a miracle worker on the skin. It just blurs the skin, it gives some glow, but also helps even the skin, and you're gonna see what I mean by that. And whenever I'm using SPF, I like to do a 2 to 3 finger length of product. This is 1, 2, 3. Or 2.5, however you want to call it. Blend out the forehead. Making sure it's blended. Another step what I like to do, because next I'm going to go in with my brows, I like to wipe off what may have gotten on my brows. And it's kind of damp because I've dried my hands with this paper towel so that it won't peel. But I like to do that so when I go on my brows, it's dry and the product would adhere to my brow hairs, right? So now that we kind of let it dry down and settle into the skin, and now I'm gonna do my brows quickly. And again, this makeup routine can take me less than 15 minutes, but of course, because I'm explaining and I'm talking, it's gonna take me a little bit longer. But when it comes to my brows, this is a quick way to do them, especially when I'm in a rush and I don't have time, but I still want them to look, you know, neat, put together, but not perfect. I was watching someone's video on YouTube. Somebody, I believe she's a celebrity. Her name is Priyanka. She shared this tip that she does with her brows to get a good brow in minimal time. I tried it, and ever since, this is how I do my brows. So I'm gonna be going in with the Rimmel Kind and Free Brow Definer in the shade Espresso, and then the Rimmel Kind and Free Clean Eye Definer in the shade Pecan to fill in the sparse areas. Yes, I'm gonna brush it up, the hair's in place, in the direction that I want it to be. And another tip that will help your brow process to be quicker, if they're cleaned up and shaped, you won't have to do much to make sure that it looks clean. Okay, so the first thing I do is I go under, I follow my natural line, and then I go on top, just following the natural line, and then I go under. That looks so much better, and I didn't do much. And so then I brush it up again, I brush it down to blend in the product. This prevents it from looking so harsh. Then I go in with eye pencil definer product, and I just go in and fill in wherever I see a gap in my brows, and that's it. The goal is not perfection, but just a little more put together. I'll draw some strokes up. Sometimes I'll do that. It really depends on how much time I have, but that's all I do. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye, and then I'll be back. And then that's it for the brows. Because the goal is not perfecting the brow, but just cleaning it up and making sure that it looks a little more put together, not perfect, because we don't have a lot of time. So now they look more put together, more even. So now we're gonna go in with a complexion product that is our skin tone to cover up any darkness or redness or any imperfections on your skin. To make the skin look more even, you can use a concealer that is your skin tone, or something that is medium buildable coverage, full coverage. Or if you don't have any of those and your skin is fine, then you can skip this step. But for the girlies that have those imperfections on the skin, I would say this step, you would use a complexion product that can act as a concealer. So today we're gonna go in with the Christian Beauty Tallow Cream Foundation. And I'm gonna go in with Rich Neutral, and then I'll go in with Rich Golden. And I'm gonna be using my e.l.f. foundation brush, and I'm just going to swirl it in the pan just to pick up all the product. And then I'm going to, wherever I have dark marks or hyperpigmentation, not everywhere, but just in the center of my face, because I'm more concerned about the center of my face being even, not necessarily the outer parts of my face, because I don't have much time. So I'm just trying to get the center of my face looking a little more even. Go around my mouth. I'll even go here. So I'm not going to blend it out just yet because I'm gonna go in with the Rich Golden shade. Same product, just this shade is a little more like my skin tone. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna swirl the brush in the product, and then I'm gonna go around my mouth. Go in those areas. Forehead. And normally I don't put makeup on my forehead. I just leave it as it is, just because it's my forehead, and my forehead isn't bad. You know, most people don't notice if you have makeup on your forehead or not, because again, this makeup routine is not to be a full glam. This is like a quick makeup look that looks like your skin, but better, but just a little more put together. So I'm going to blend that out with my Safe foundation brush, and I'm just going to stamp it in, not swipe, stamp it in. I find I get the most coverage and a seamless blend. And I can leave it at that, but if I wanted a little more coverage, this same brush, I would go in with the rich golden shade and I'll just swirl it in the product. And I'm not going all over my face, just in those spots where I have hyperpigmentation. Okay, so now I'm gonna go under my eyes with that same foundation, but with a brighter shade, and this is Rich Golden 2. This is another custom shade that I have. It's about a shade or two brighter. I'm going to swirl the brush in the product, and then I'm going to, whoop, that was a lot. I did not need that much. So now my goal is bringing light back to the center of my face. So now I'm going to blend the concealer out with that TL concealer brush. Just going to pack that in. Normally I would go in with my cream bronzer, but today we're gonna skip that step and we're gonna go straight into my powder bronzer. And today I'm gonna be using the Well People Super Powder Bronzing Powder in the shade Bronze. So I'm gonna go in with my Morphe M405 brush. And then I'm just gonna apply it here, higher up, because this is going to kind of be like my bronzer and blush, kind of. Nothing precise, I just kind of go over my nose. I'm not trying to be neat or anything. Not really trying to be neat or precise, just getting some color on my lid. Sometimes I will go on my forehead, you know, in these areas, but sometimes I don't. Again, it just depends on how much time I have. The less time I have, the less places I apply makeup, because with some places it's not needed. But do you see the difference now? So now I'm going to set the concealed areas, and I'm going to go in with the Nude by Nature Finishing Translucent Powder. So I'm going to go in with the powder puff, tap that on my hand, and then go right in. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Then I go on the forehead. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't, depending on how much time I have, but I'll still clean up under here where I apply bronzer. And now we're gonna go in with blush, powder blush. But right now I've been loving my terracotta, my corally, peachy kind of shades. So that's what I'm gonna go in with. And today I'm going to be using the 100% pure Fruit Pigmented Berry Naked palette. I'm gonna go in this blush shade right here. And I'm gonna use my Japonesque dual-ended foundation and concealer brush. I'm gonna go in with that color, tap off the excess, and then I'm gonna go on the high points of my cheeks. Gonna do the same on the other side of my face. So I'm going to melt that in with leftover cream blush here. And sometimes the powder blush that I use, sometimes I go over the lid with it too, just to add a little bit something, depending on what I'm doing that day. Sometimes it's just the bronzer, but if it's for church or somewhere else where I'm going that, you know, I want to do a little bit something extra, I'll go on my eyelids with that same blush shade, both powder and cream, to marry everything together. Yeah, look at that. Look how pretty the cheeks look. And then I always like to blend it in, and I normally do that with the brush that I applied my base product with, just so that it's seamless and no harsh lines. And then if I still have more time, I like to go in with a cream highlighter. And today we're gonna go in with the Rose Ink Cream Highlighter in the shade Lustrous. I've been using Prismatic for a while, so I figured I'll switch it out and use the lustrous shade. This one is more golden, and I just go on the tip of my nose, along the bridge, and then my inner tear duct. And then if I have time, I would like to set that, go back in with the 100% Pure Berry Naked palette, and then I'll go in, well actually, we're gonna go in with the RMS ReDimension Hydra Eyes Quartet, the Wild Velvet palette, and we're gonna go in with the shade Sun Shower, and I'm gonna use that in my inner tear duct. Normally, I won't go that bright as a shade. I usually will go in with the 100% Pure Rose Gold palette, and I would go in with this highlighting shade right here. And actually, because with this shade, it's not as vibrant as the other one. You see, like it's not as intense, but I have to add an inner tear duct. I don't know, it just opens the eyes and it really just allows the eye to pop. Then I just blend that up so it's not too harsh. And so now we're gonna set the face, and I'm gonna go in with the RMS Radiance Lock Setting Mist. This is gonna help melt everything in and extend the wear of the makeup. And then of course, we're gonna go in with my handheld fan with that same bronzing shade. We're gonna go on the lower lash line. So now we're gonna curl the lashes, and I'm gonna go in with my Japonesque Pro Lash Curler. So now we're gonna go in with my lash primer, which is the Jane Iredale Lash Extender and Conditioner, and then the 100% Pure Fruit Pigmented Ultra Lengthening Mascara in the shade Black Tea. Now we're gonna go in with the mascara. And we're gonna go on the lower lash line with the same mascara. And I like to do a lot of coats when I'm not using my press-on falsies. So now we're gonna do the lips. We're gonna go in with the Nude by Nature Defining Lip Pencil in the shade Espresso. And then we're gonna go in with the Araza Coconut Color Glossy Balm in the shade Melba. I've been loving this lately, so. Pretty, 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 pretty. It's like a balm and a gloss combined. I top that in the center to give it a little more sheen, a little more gloss. And that was the 100% Pure Fruit Pigmented Lip Gloss in Naked. All right, so this is the final look. Everyday, natural makeup look, looking a little more put together, not doing too much, but just enough. And again, with this makeup routine, I can do this in 15 minutes or less because I'm moving fast. I'm not talking when I'm doing my makeup. So because I had to explain it and share the products, you know, it took a little longer, but some steps I do skip depending on where I'm going and how much time I have. But for the most part, if I am wanting to look a little bit more special, then I'll do those subtle details like I did. But normally some things I would skip. So I didn't apply press-on lashes. And do you see how the mascara has my lashes looking so pretty? A little something something with some wisp, but not doing too much, but it still defined the shape of my eyes. And that's what I love about this mascara for those days when no makeup, but a little bit more special, if that makes sense. I love it. The skin, it's still recovering. It looks so much better from the breakout that I had. I don't know if you can tell, but the texture is smoothing out. The makeup is sitting on the skin so nicely. It looks a little more even the brows, not perfect, but just a little more put together. And that's what I go for quick makeup routines, no makeup, everyday makeup. This is what I'm wearing every day. Unless I'm going to church, then I will sometimes apply the press-on falsies, and I will do, you know, like the extra thing where I put a little color on the lid or, you know, in a tear duct. But other than that, every day, this is what I'm doing. Or sometimes I just apply the RMS Supernatural Radiance Serum, and then I'll do my brows, lip gloss, and that's it. And I'll usually find like a nice pair of sunglasses that is a light color that I can see, but you know, it kind of covers this way. Sometimes I'll do the RMS Natural Radiance with the Christian Beauty Tallow Cream Foundation, and I'll put that in areas, and I won't even set it because of its soft matte finish. I won't have to set it because I don't apply it under my eyes. I'll apply it in the center, like where there is some redness or dark spot, and that's it. And skin still looks like skin. And that's why I love this so much for everyday makeup, natural makeup, when I'm in a rush and I don't have time, because these two are perfect together. But this is the routine when I have about 15 minutes. When I don't have 15 minutes and I literally only have like 5 to 10 minutes, or if I only have 5 minutes, I'm doing my brows. And well, of course, I always do this because this is skincare, but the makeup, I go in with this and I spot conceal, and that's it. Maybe I'll do a makeup routine like that. If I only have 5 minutes, what do I do to look more put together? Because I can do another routine like that. You just let me know in the comments, but this would be 15 minutes or less. And this can be good for any day, work, school, church, running errands, whatever. But I love it. I love it. It is my go-to way to look more presentable and more put together in minimal time, or a little more special in minimal time. Because the thing is, you can still look a little more special with minimal time. It's the products that you use. It's going to be helpful if they're multi-use. A product that can be concealer, foundation, this product, and then this again, sun care, primer, foundation if you want it. And then of course your bronzers and your blushes can act as bronzers, blushes, eyeshadows, bronzers can act as bronzer and eyeshadow. And on your lower lash line, I mean, the options are endless when you have products that can be multi-use. Same thing with your brushes. That helps with your makeup process. That's minimal brushes you got to grab for, so that makes it quicker to blend and be done. So thank you for sticking around to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful. And you have to let me know your thoughts in the comments of the products that I use, and your thoughts on if you've mastered a 15-minute makeup routine or less, and if not, what you would like help with, because maybe I can create some more videos addressing that problem for you. So if you like videos like this, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until next time, bye.